So I come from Western Kentucky, a small town called Madisonville, and I honestly have always known that I wanted to be an artist. My dad is a musician, so he's always been like very creative throughout my whole life, and as soon as I was like drawing all the time, he very quickly was like, "Oh, well, you're definitely an artist. Let's get you on that pathway," and always encouraged me. And we have family in New York City, and the first time that we went and visited them, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love New York City. I have to go to art school here, and this is the pathway that I'm gonna take." And I was like 10 when that happened, so I just have always felt like I knew I wanted to be an artist, and that always was a part of my identity growing up. And as I got older, I eventually, came here, and I lived in Madisonville my entire life before I moved to Louisville. And it's a very small town, very like country town, and I was kind of pretty much like the only person that I ever went to school with that was an artist at all. So it very much was like everyone just knew me as like the artist girl. So as soon as I got into painting, I did acrylic painting for a bit, and then I got introduced to oil painting by an artist who is local to Henderson, Kentucky, named Chris Thomas, and he definitely has been an artist that I've looked up to throughout my just entire like art career, I'd say. And he's an oil painter, and for the first like 10 years of my art pathway, I was just doing like paintings and oil paintings like that. So I of course just love the entire history of painting in general, and portraiture and still life paintings and Dutch still life paintings, specifically like Baroque paintings and Renaissance paintings and things of that nature. I don't paint very much at all in my art practice now in the way that I used to, like portraiture or what you would think of as realism. But I find myself like in galleries always attracted to paintings the most and excited by that. And I think my history as being a painter definitely does play a role now in my artwork, just because I do a lot of like setup scenes or photography and things like that, and I think it's kind of the same influence that photographers and painters have of like wanting to capture this moment and capture a scene, and or set up a scene and capture it and be able to like direct what you're painting, just kind of in a different form, with photography. So I've definitely, even still in my work today, I'm influenced by just painting history and portraiture for sure. Baroque paintings, as I said, and still life paintings. When I came in here, all I had ever done for years of my life was painting, and that is what I knew I was good at. But I didn't, like, as I was doing it, I was just kind of, people would come to me and have a photograph that they wanted me to paint, and then I'd paint the photograph, and that just wasn't exciting to me as much as other people were like, "Oh wow, these paintings though, like, they're so great." It wasn't like super exciting for me, and I almost completely abandoned painting once I started experimenting more with other materials and subjects and thoughts, and really thinking more about like what I want my art to be and want it to mean. So it definitely, I think, has evolved into more of sculptural things, and I consider myself like a mixed media artist, but it's definitely very sculptural and 3D and like physical things, as opposed to like the flat painted photos that I used to do. But it's all still in there. It's really kind of interesting to me how I started off just doing like portraiture and still life oil paintings when I got here, and now I'm doing my senior show, which is almost like a live painting, if that makes sense. It's like, instead of just painting images, I'm bringing people to step into the painting instead. I'm so influenced by the history of painting and still life paintings, and I'm kind of using the Memento Mori art trope of remember you must die, and turning that on its head a bit and saying Memento Amare, which is Latin for remember love. So it's kind of an exploration of love with an exploration of mortality, and just kind of the role that humans have played and that has played in our life, and the connection to memory within all of that. I kind of explore how memories are one of the only immortal things about humans, and our lives and our nature. But it's definitely pushing the importance of love and memory throughout our lives. You know, remember death, but remember love as well. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit about it. I do know I was able to do 2 internships here. One with the Filson, the local historical society, and then one with a designer, Chris Habana. And both, I did the Filson internship and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my dream job. And then I did the Chris Habana internship and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my dream job. So I think I would be very happy either fully pursuing more of the route of working with local historical communities. I've always been very much a history nerd, and I love working with the artifacts, especially in the archives, the super large archive collection that the Filson has. But I also definitely have a passion for fashion and garment making and textile use. So I think, you know, one of those ways is definitely where my heart is taking me, I think. But it's definitely, both of those internships were very eye-opening to because I kind of always was I know I want to be an artist, but what do I do in the world with that? So I'm very thankful that Kike had, you know, connected me to those internships. And as far as success as an artist in the world, I don't know, that's a loaded question. Probably just that I'm happy, at least you know, personally speaking. I can't speak for anybody else, but I guess that I'm as long as I'm happy doing whatever I'm doing. I always knew that art was the pathway that I had to follow just because it's what my heart connected to, you know, most. So I feel like as an artist, I would think of myself as successful if I continue just having that heart connection to whatever I'm doing.